I felt very at home because of that, because everyone didn't have a home in a way. So that was really nice.
There's nothing like a TCC podcast, man.
Welcome, everyone, and mainly welcome to our first guest, Jonathan. How is it going, man?
Good, man. Happy to be here. Very exciting venture you guys have.
It's our first guest ever, so you're making history here with us.
Yeah.
You know that we invited you because besides being our friend, you're one of the people with the most interesting life we know.
Oh, high praise. No
Is it
pressure.
not? Don't you think?
Yeah, hopefully I don't bore people.
We know that you've been living in a lot of countries since you were born.
Yeah.
For longer periods of your time, of your life. And just to start the podcast off, what is the culture you feel represented with the most?
Me? All right. Well,
Why? Give us as much detail as possible.
Yeah, my the dreaded question that I'm sure Lorenzo's heard a million times.
It's gonna start with like an 8-minute explanation.
No, no.
leave him.
I
No,
mean,
actually.
you want details?
No,
like,
for the first time, you can go with it, man. You have my approval.
all right.
Lorenzo's gonna act interested again.
Yeah,
One
man.
more
I
time
heard
for
it like
you.
300 times, but no. Every time, man, he has something new. That's the funny thing.
Oh,
that's
yeah,
perfect.
because my mood changes depending on the day. But I'll say sorry to everyone out there who's heard this a million times as well.
You can skip for the next 8 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, come on, man.
No, okay. So
We invited you because you're interesting. Go for it.
for context, I'm half American, half Brazilian. So if we keep it like that, it makes things very simple. That's usually how I introduce myself. Unless it's a total stranger, I don't even bother going that deep. But
What would you say?
if it's total stranger, depends the stranger. If it's
What if it's an interesting stranger?
I'll say I'm half American, half Brazilian.
Oh,
If it's someone I'll never see again, I'll say I'm Brazilian or I'm American. Just depends on the context, where I am, who I'm talking to. But like, it really is just what's ever in my head. Problem is with saying you're American, they always ask, especially in Ireland, where in the US, and then it's like another can of worms. But
you usually say California, right?
I used to say California, but then everyone wants to relate to California, and I don't remember anything about California, so I just say Rhode Island, so no one asks any
Uh-huh.
follow-up questions.
I heard you once say Kentucky, though, right?
I've never said Kentucky.
You
I'll
never
never
said
say
Kentucky?
Kentucky.
Okay.
Sorry, Dad.
I thought, yeah, your dad was from Kentucky.
It doesn't mean I'm from Kentucky. I've never been there.
Okay.
Only like as a child. I don't remember much, but no offense to Kentucky out there. But okay, so half Brazilian, half American. I was born in Brazil, so maybe that leans me more towards Brazil. But then I moved to the US very young, and I went to English-speaking, mostly American schools. So that makes me kind of culturally American.
When did you move from Brazil?
I was a year old. I had my first birthday in the US. I was less than a year old,
And
actually.
you were born in Rio.
I was born in Rio.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, my grandmother moved with us to the U.S. So I actually did grow up. She didn't speak English at all. So I did grow up speaking Portuguese at home, and then obviously I had to use English when I made friends or went to school. So there, like my first few years of life, I just rejected one language or the other, and then that's just kind of often how bilingual kids work.
How was that? Like, then you're bilingual too. I've always wondered, like, how does that work, like, with your brain? Because I heard of some stories, you're gonna laugh probably, of some kids getting quite twisted, growing up with two languages, like not really recognizing which language was which. So, how was that working? Like, was your dad speaking to you in Portuguese when you were a
My
kid,
dad
or?
speaks Portuguese. He mostly used English. I think I know a little kid, and this makes more sense because I could see him growing up. I was 2. I don't remember what was happening, but this kid was living in Bahrain, so he had to use English at school. His dad's German, his mom's Brazilian, so that's 3 languages there. And the kid was late.
3 languages.
Yeah, he was late. Like, I think he didn't really start speaking till he was about 3. Well, he was speaking a little bit before,
What time does a
but
human usually start
like
speaking?
2, you can have conversation fully. Like, I think, but he was.
Philosophy.
Welcome to the TCC podcast.
You should bring a 2-year-old on. I think he has some good insight. But Yeah, the kid was a little bit late to speaking, and you would like ask him a question in English. Sometimes he'd answer me in German, and I'd be like, "Well, I can't help you there, pal." But then sometimes he'd answer in Portuguese. Like he was a little bit mixed up, but then something clicks eventually, and now he can speak
Like
three
they can
languages fluently.
categorize languages.
Yeah, and now he can speak more languages than like the average person, and he's like 6 now.
Even
so.
more than 3.
He speaks 3, plus he's learning kind of Arabic as he goes along. Like, and probably gonna learn Spanish. Like, oh yeah, the kid's got a future. He's good. He's set.
How old is he? You said now 6.
Oh, actually, he's probably like 8 now. But I knew him
Still.
when I was 3.
Well, man, 8 years old, 4 languages. Fuck me. You're
Pretty
you're
good.
elite.
Like, yeah, makes my languages seem wimpy. But anyway, back to what I was saying. Yeah, so maybe I was more culturally aligned with the U.S., especially in middle school, because I lived in Rhode Island. Middle school is like from the age of 11 to 13.
And before that, you were in which states?
I was in Japan.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
But
That's
tell
a-
that story too, man.
Oh,
He's
jeez.
directly
No,
going
so
to the
like,
US.
let's try to build a timeline. You were born in Rio.
Yeah.
Before you were 1 years old, you were brought to the U.S. Where?
I was brought to Rhode Island. That was the
Okay,
first,
Rhode Island,
my first
yeah.
place. So that's why it does kind of make sense to say I'm
Yeah.
from there. Then I moved to Washington State, like around Seattle. I went there and left before I was 2. I don't remember anything at all.
Yeah.
Then I went to San Diego.
What
and
age?
that's like probably around 2. Now, meanwhile, then I had my grandmother with me, and I was going back to Brazil every year, sometimes for like 6 months at a time.
Yeah.
So your grandmother moved with you to all these states.
For like the first bit of my life, she was with us.
So you
And
felt like you were learning the culture of the US. By you knowing you still feel like you have the Brazilian culture with you.
yeah, and it came in waves. Like, I would have rejected it for a while when I was a little kid because I was living in the U.S. and it was weird for me.
How old?
But I still like 4 or 5.
Rejecting it? How?
Like I would stick to English even when my mom spoke Portuguese to me.
Okay.
Or wouldn't really identify as Brazilian with my little friends at school. Obviously, like
And you weren't like, I'm
Because everyone
an
was
American.
like pure
everyone was
American. Yeah.
Well, there were like a lot of Mexican Americans in San Diego, but yeah, generally American. But anyway, like for example, I was in Brazil for long periods of time. At this, like 9/11 happened, and my dad obviously went off for a long time. My mom took me to Brazil, and we stayed there for ages.
Where was he during 9/11?
Oh, I don't know.
I couldn't tell you.
I don't know. Like,
Well, first, wait. We didn't touch on it. Like the reason why you were traveling so much is because
I just asked the culture you feel represented with the most.
yeah, it's tough.
that's the cool part, man. Wait a sec, because you gotta say why I was traveling so much.
yeah.
Yeah.
So my dad was in the Navy,
Exactly.
the U.S. Navy.
Yeah.
There you
Okay.
go.
Right.
Okay.
So
So
there-
otherwise, people might be thinking, "What the
This
fuck?
guy
What,
moving."
backpacking at 2 years old."
I know, yeah. And yeah, U.S. Navy, but he did an exchange with the Brazilian Navy. It's not like a common thing that happens, but it's called like a pep tour.
Oh, like you did the same with Russia. What did you used to
No,
do?
that was just like a port visit. But this was literally like he spent 2 years on a Brazilian ship. But yeah, I digress. I was in California until I was 7. At that point, my dad got orders to move to Japan. And at first, my mom thought we bought a house in San Diego and everything. My mom thought we'd stay.
You bought a
he'd go-
house. in
Yeah,
San
yeah.
Diego. Is it still owned and everything?
It's sold now.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. But my mom thought we'll stay in California. She wasn't ready to move to another country. She had a business, and my dad went to Japan without us. And then a few months later, like push came to shove, we moved to Japan as well. And I was sad. This was the first like big move I remember in my life. I remember being pulled out of my school, and I was like, oh, I'll never see these people again. Sure enough, never saw or heard from any of them again.
How old were you?
7. Which, like, that was the first time I could remember a move and be a little, like, sad about it because I lived in San Diego. That's the longest still to this day I've ever lived somewhere. It was
San Diego was like how many years?
around 5 or 6.
5 or 6 years.
Yeah, like, I started school there, and I went all the way until
That's a
3rd
long
grade.
time for your dad to stay posted at
You get,
one
like,
place.
kind of like a contract extension you can
Uh-huh,
apply for.
okay.
More or less. Not in those terms.
But it was like in San Diego, right?
Yeah, we had a house there. Like we had a house, and my parents met in California. Like they were fans. But anyway, we moved to Japan. Obviously, this is a big like. As a kid, I wasn't even thinking that much about like moving to Japan. What does that even mean? And I hadn't traveled that much. I've been to Mexico. I've been to Canada, the U.S., and Brazil. Like I hadn't been like to that side of the world.
Well, still more than any
Yeah,
other
man.
kid.
It's a lot of traveling.
I had to go. Brazil is my country, and then we were right by the Mexican border, and then Canada. I was too young to remember, so I won't call those like I won't really count those. But yes, yes. And so we moved to Japan, and we're living on an American military base, so it's a little bit sheltered. It's not like we're plopped
It's like
in
a
the middle of Tokyo.
NATO base. Or...
No, like Navy, fully
Okay,
Navy.
okay.
Yeah, we don't. There's no NATO in Japan.
Uh-huh.
But that was great. That was my last 2 years of elementary school, 4th and 5th grade. And
How did it go when you just arrived there, new school? Was it?
All the kids were American, right? All of them.
there's some
American.
Japanese kids, but not like they were all like Japanese American kids. But yeah, mostly pretty much all Americans. This was an American school on an American base. This wasn't like my school in Bahrain.
And
But-
it was near which main city?
So it's in a city called Yokosuka, which is near Yokohama, which you would have heard of, and then probably like an hour and a half. That I don't remember that well from Tokyo, just
And
around the
you-
same bay.
Did you have the chance of like living outside the border of the base?
Not living, but my mom took us everywhere. Like whenever she could, she pulled me out of school. We went everywhere, all over Japan.
So you visited all of Japan?
A lot of it. Like
Yeah.
I'm happy with that. I want to go back and see it as an adult. But
What's the best thing about Japan?
oh Jesus, people I think were very kind, very helpful. Like they went out of their way. Food, can't deny, it's my favorite to this day. But not even just Japanese food. I think they're good at everything. They're perfectionists. They make
Yeah, they're like the Germans of the East.
yeah.
there's
Well,
actually
they're better at
people
food
say.
than Germany, but they're
It's
they're
better,
great.
better, man. Better everything.
Yeah, but no,
I'm
they're
joking.
great, and they're very like it's organized, which
Yeah, it
I'm
works.
a little bit of
It's,
a freak for organization.
And what's the worst thing about Japan?
People are a bit shy, and it can be lonely. It's not always easy to like, maybe like make a friend on the street because they're a little shy. They don't want to. Yeah, reserved. So it's not like in Ireland you can't just walk down the street and talk to some dude.
All the friends that you had back then, did they have like a Western influence, or
Yeah,
you
yeah.
managed to like have some friends that were like full Japanese?
Some of them were full Japanese. Like full Japanese as in both their parents were Japanese, but he was in the American Navy. So yeah, I had a couple like more Japanese friends. We also had to do Host Nation where we had a Japanese teacher. She hated me. I was bad at origami. That's not even a joke.
Did you have to learn Japanese?
Yes, but it
It's
was
gonna start
very
going full Japanese. Like
no. It was very rudimentary. My little sister went to a Japanese school. She was too young for regular school, and she was speaking more Japanese than Portuguese.
To who?
No, she didn't have anyone to practice with.
Exactly, because
Exactly, it goes away very quickly. Yeah, but anyway, Japan, 2 years of my life, not a big portion if you think about it.
From 7 to 9.
No, from 8 to 10. So I left California.
Okay,
I was like,
right.
yeah, about 8.
How was it making friends there when you moved? Did you know you were gonna only move for 2 years when you moved there?
No, and it actually ended up being more because we extended, so it was 2.5 years. Because they wanted me to finish school years. I never left in the middle of a school year, which is very lucky because a lot of military children can't do
they
that.
get pulled out.
Yeah. So I left at the end of 3rd grade, and then I left. There was a long summer, and then I left at the end of 5th grade.
Did you make
Almost at 6th grade. Yeah.
good friendships there?
Yeah, like any other kid would. There's only they're kids.
Yeah, but sometimes they come back. You just told us about your
I wouldn't even say probably wasn't even my close friend when I was in Japan. He was a guy in my
Oh,
class.
it's good for your network. It's good to stay in touch, though.
Yeah, so my 4th grade class I don't really know much about. My 5th grade class was special because it was my mom put me in Spanish immersion, so half the class was taught in Spanish. I don't know why that was an option, but I guess um, there's a lot of Latino kids in the military, and
Well, you're Latino too.
yeah, but not Spanish speaking, not Hispanic. But yes, so I guess that's a way for them to like keep using their Spanish, and then also just for other kids that their parents want them, they're ambitious, want them to learn Spanish. So that was fine. I was like top three in the class after all the Hispanic kids. I was probably the best after them.
Oh, in Spanish.
It was easy, like compared to Portuguese, it was like kind of a cheat code.
Did you learn Spanish there?
Yeah, that's when I would have like properly learned it. I learned little songs in Spanish. We did plays in Spanish. We learned Spanish culture. My teacher was this guy from Utah. This was my intro to Mormonism too. I won't go that way, but he was this guy from Utah who did his mission, I think, in Bolivia. Met his wife, and learned Spanish. obviously.
Bolivian girl, the wife.
Yeah, Bolivian woman. So yeah, that was interesting. He was a good teacher, memorable. Like we have a Facebook group chat with him and all the students that were there, and we did like a little reunion 2 years ago on Zoom. So yeah,
So this is still in Japan, right?
still in Japan.
What happens next?
So we find out we're moving to Rhode Island just before middle school
Again?
starts.
Oh wow.
Again, yeah.
You were
'cause
happy about it.
So what's in Rhode Island? There's a Naval War College. So for the first time in my life, my dad wasn't working on a ship. He was working shore duty, they call it. So he was working at the War College. So that's like where they train. But so we moved to Rhode Island, and this was my most American experience. This is probably the most American I've ever been. There's videos. I used to have a YouTube channel, and
Yeah, I saw it.
there's little like vlogs or whatever, and you hear me, and I sound so American.
Yeah.
And my accent is more American, if that's possible.
Was that
I-
was that the age when when you made me listen to that song that I'm proud to be American because at least I know I'm free.
That was kind of a
that
military
age?
kid thing.
Okay.
That was even before
You
that.
should listen to that song. Yeah. We're gonna pull it. We're gonna put it up
song.
later.
But no, so I was in a small town in Rhode Island called Portsmouth, not really close to the Navy base because that's in Newport. So not a lot of Navy kids at my school. To be honest, I think there were none. I was probably one of the most foreign things in that school. It was a very white school, very like middle class and
Is
normal.
Rhode Island like a white state? You would say?
Yeah, I mean it's New England. I mean it's yeah, and some very wealthy people, some not so wealthy. Like it was a very big mix of people. It was a good school. It was middle school, so it's always nervous. Like there's this reputation that middle school is the worst, hard to make friends, bullies are rampant.
Did it happen?
I was fine, I was kind of like middle of the road. I wasn't popular by any means, but I wasn't like bullied either. So
Were you ever squared up by anyone?
no,
Okay.
not like in movies, not at all.
Yeah, because they tend to portray like American schools as
I know.
like,
I was
you
always
got
scared of that.
cheerleaders, you got
Yeah.
like the football team.
But trust me, before my
bullies.
first day of school, sixth grade, I was
You
so
probably had the
stressed about that.
stereotypes in your head as well.
Yeah, of course. And that's what my teacher was trying to. My fifth grade teacher, Senor Palmer, was his name, by the way.
call her out. Call her out. We never liked
Shout out.
Shout out. But yeah, he would tell us, no, it'll be okay. There's cliques and it might get kind of divided, but it won't be, you'll be okay. But so we were okay. I had a good group of friends. I'm not really in touch with them, like I have their Instagrams, but I had a good group of friends. And yeah, that was super American. For 3 years, I did middle school there. And until 2013, finished middle school. It's time for high school, and perfect time for a move because at least it was between schools and everything. So I find out we're moving to Bahrain, and
Age?
I was 13.
Okay. And you were like, where is that?
Where is Bahrain? What is that? Yes, that was obviously the first thing that came to mind. A lot of adults don't even know, so especially in the U.S. But not only that, sorry.
How would you compare moving to Japan when you were 7
Yeah.
with moving to Bahrain? You had different ages. I think you had many more questions before moving to Bahrain than when you moved to Japan. Do you recall it being different or being more nervous now that you were 13? Had friends that you had deeper connections with?
Yeah, I was definitely pretty nervous. It was also like you're going to high school, which is a big deal, and I have to make new friends. So I was definitely stressed. I don't remember being like I probably was upset about leaving Rhode Island and my friends. I probably was pretty sad. I won't lie, but I don't remember being like devastated. I didn't have this crazy connection to Rhode Island. So yeah, I don't know. I don't have that much memory. Maybe I just blocked it out. Maybe it's traumatic, but I don't remember that well how I felt when I was 7. I just remember the day I was pulled out of school. I was very upset, and but even my friend, like you're a kid. They're not. These friendships aren't like crazy deep. They're kid friendships. We
When
had
you were
serial
7 or 13?
7.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
but probably in every place you went, you had a best friend, right?
Yeah, I can't even remember who was my best friend when I was in
Wow. Do you
San
think like
Diego.
you blocked it out maybe? Because I was talking to Dan yesterday. We were like trying to set up an agenda for this podcast, and I thought exactly about this scenario. And for my particular case, man, I remember when my parents wanted to move house like 10 kilometers away, but it would have meant like a different town. And you know, you had to cycle
Yeah.
1 hour 30 minutes to
Yeah,
fucking
yeah,
arrive to
yeah.
that town, and I remember like crying like a little baby, going like,
Yeah.
no, I don't want to lose my friends. I don't want to lose my
I
friends.
did.
They're
I
gonna
probably
forget me."
cried. I mean, I definitely cried. I was definitely upset. It's just that something I don't remember thinking about this.
I mean, it
just,
makes you quite strong in relationships for the future, no? You kind of stand by yourself and being
yes
being
and no.
independent.
I know. I'm
Emotionally
like
independent,
confident.
yeah, no?
I'm like confident enough when I move into a new place that like it's gonna work out and I'm gonna have some friends eventually. This is way easier with school than it is with no school. I'll tell you that. Almost all my friends in life, except for you probably, Dan, and people from Qualtrics are from universities or schools. So that is a problem that I might have in the future. But that was good. But then yeah, it is hard. I wonder how it is for you guys that have like childhood friends. I don't know. Do you still talk to them a lot? The same kids you had when you were 10?
That's has an interesting take on this.
I know you.
what
I know
you're
you
referring
moved,
to,
Dan. I know you moved to Germany.
but that's for university.
Okay.
So I was asking these questions with the age and the friend groups and everything, because I believe when you're more 13, 14, maybe 12 starting with, you start to develop, at least for me, what I felt like, deeper relationships with your friends.
Yeah, for sure. No, I was definitely very upset. Like I wasn't
More
happy
than
to leave
7.
them. More than when I was 7. Yeah, 7. At least my memory was shorter, and I think I got over it more quickly. And this was also like, what's Bahrain? What's that What's that gonna be like? And all these images go to my head. I didn't know much at the time. When you would Google Bahrain, it was like,
Show you desert.
no, it wasn't
Can you
even that. It
Google
was just a lot of. Nowadays, it's a different Google search, but back then there were a lot of just like tire fires and
Which year did you move?
2013. So it was like 2 years after the Arab Spring. There was a lot going on. But nowadays, the photos are chill. It's Formula One.
No, you're missing. Yeah.
That's not Bahrain.
He's-
It's going to be like, oh my God. That's not
oh
it
yeah, it's
either.
just Formula One.
It's going to be Formula One. It's going to be like
Pictures.
big buildings.
No,
Oh
why
my God.
Vettel? No, don't put Vettel. Just put Bahrain, man.
It's only Formula 1, sorry.
Yeah, because they have the Grand Prix.
See.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, that
It
looks
looks
nice.
like a
It
Dream
looks
City
sick.
now.
It looks sick. It looks
That
looks
looks
like
very
Abu
nice,
Dhabi.
yeah.
Can you zoom on the first one? In the first peak? Oh man. Were you living in the inner city there or outside?
It's hard to describe. They don't really have like defined cities. No, I was living out like on the west coast of the island, which is very close to the.
Yeah, it's
Everything's
really
very
tiny.
close.
Yeah.
But it was more like suburbia. You know, it was more like houses. I wasn't living in that.
Yeah.
Um,
It's funny because you mentioned Joko Willink before we started the podcast. I'm just gonna open a little parenthesis. No, two days ago I was watching a video, and apparently Joko was posted there in 2000. And yeah, he met his wife there, but he said that before moving there, just thought, oh wow, it's Middle East. It's probably gonna be in the middle of the war or something. And then he arrived there, and it was kind of westernized. They had pubs, they had bars, and it was full of American people. So
Oh,
did you
tons
have,
of- tons of
so
expats,
Did you have
tons of
that experience too?
Americans. Yeah, look. So Bahrain has the U.S. Fifth Fleet, which is pretty important for their military.
Fifth Fleet in terms of volume, amount of.
No, Fifth Fleet. They named the fleets after their numbers. So like, there's the Seventh Fleet, and the Fifth Fleet is in the Gulf. It's in Bahrain. So
It doesn't
everyone,
mean anything. Like there's no ranking.
just the name
it's
of
just
the
the
fleet.
fifth.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ah,
So
okay. I thought they were ranked.
no, not exactly. But anyway, everyone I meet who is in the Navy or knows someone in the Navy has been to Bahrain at some point. Everyone, like Richard's sister has been to Bahrain. A guy I met in when I was in Sydney was in the Navy for 5 years. He's been to Bahrain. So it is a common stomping ground, and that's why. So the country is like most of the Gulf countries, majority expats. So it's very international. People a lot like me, to be honest, more than I had in Rhode Island, where I was like kind of the weird foreign guy. Um,
Did you feel more represented by these people that had different nationalities than just being in the U.S. and being American?
yeah, I didn't think I would. I didn't think about this at all, and then I started school, and all of a sudden, my friends were like from all over,
Like you.
from like me, and a lot of them like just
You could understand each other. You were on the
yeah,
same level.
immediately. So I think I did. I definitely that helped a lot, and I felt very at home because of that. Because everyone didn't have a home, in a way. So that was really nice. But yeah, Bahrain. There's British military. The U.S. base is actually a joint force, so there's lots of different countries there. I'll walk around. You'll see Danish military, Italian military, Korean military.
Really?
Yeah, everyone's there. Like, there's even a guy from Brazil, always one or two hanging around. It's very funny to see the Brazilian military. But yeah, we moved there when I was 13, so very my formative years, I say. And I didn't know what to
You
expect.
stayed there for 4 years?
4 years, all of high school till I was done. My mom's still there with my sister, still going to the same school.
When you moved to these countries, John, do you know? I think I asked this already, but when you moved to Bahrain, did you know it's going to be 4 years, or do you expect around?
No. So the contract tends to be 2 years.
Okay.
That's what my dad was supposed to be there for. Once we were there for 2 years, he extended for another 3, I believe. But obviously, I finished high school, so I moved on, and he stayed one more year after I started high school.
But when you move, you know that for sure you'll stay for 2 years, but you don't know your future after that.
Yeah, exactly. That's how it works.
Is it not a little bit stressful? Moving to a country and saying, okay, I'll have to get a new group of friends, get
Yeah.
to know everyone again,
Yeah.
create my deep relationships while I'll have to leave in 2 years, probably.
Yeah, that's why I say I was very lucky. I didn't ever have to leave in the middle of a year. A lot of military kids do have to do that, and also just switching high schools. It's not nice. I had a good experience. I got to stay in the high school for 4 years. That was really good for me. And Bahrain, which I enjoyed. I didn't know anything about it. My dad had applied to go to Germany and Italy, which is where I wanted to go.
Man, I was gonna ask, like, your dad never got posted in a European country.
No, it's kind of a luxury, but
Yeah, to be posted in a European country.
yeah,
Why that?
especially I mean, everyone wants to live
Say,
in Italy.
John, say.
Everyone wants to live in Italy, like in Naples. But,
everyone wants to live there.
yeah, I mean it's a popular
Of the
place.
Americans, really?
A lot of them do, like the ones that want to go to other countries.
I thought
popular
some of them
places
would have
are-
been like, oh yeah, I want to go like to Norway.
I don't know if there's many.
or Spain.
There's not a lot of military there. Spain, yeah, it's another popular one, but it's
Yeah.
not as much Navy. So for Navy, the options tend to be Italy in Europe.
Wow.
But
Yeah, because of the NATO, right?
yeah, there's also
Yeah.
that's where our,
Air Force too, because
another
we have
fleet-
Vicenza.
another American fleet is there also. Yes, there's Vicenza. There's more bases.
Which
Germany.
American fleet is in Naples?
Oh jeez.
Get your facts.
I don't know.
No, don't worry.
I'm
don't
not
worry.
gonna.
Don't
Why
worry.
do you
I know
wanna know
seventh
this?
is in Japan.
I'm testing you.
I know fifth is in the Gulf, and I want to say that leaves.
I mean, I think it was better for you to be that your father was posted somewhere else. You got more of an international
Oh,
experience.
don't get like.
Or that.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's
'Cause,
the
like, now
Sixth
you-
Fleet. I knew it,
Yeah.
but I absolutely like when I found out I was going to Bahrain instead of Germany or Italy. I really wanted Germany. I don't know. I have no idea.
You
I
know.
I just had this little idea in my head when I was in that age that I wanted to live in Germany, but it didn't work out.
Thank God.
And obviously we hit Bahrain, and I was like, "What is that?" But it ended up being probably the best move I've ever done. I got very, very happy with how it went. It made me who I am. So
I wish I could live in the Middle East for just span of time, you know. 'Cause I
Yeah.
think it really opens your mind to like a different world, different culture.
Yeah, I mean, you get used to like expats and being an expat. It feels like it's
Everything
just
is dynamic. Everything is moving quite quickly, you know.
yeah, yes and no. It's hard to describe, but yeah, it's just interesting to see so many different people in one place. And there's always this, like there's
But sorry, in this span of time, so from the moment you were 1 to the moment you were 17, so we called you here not only because one sec, because you managed to live in many places, you also visited so many places too. How many actually? I know you keep count.
Yeah, that's a very specific thing about you that I haven't seen anyone do. Like at to the
It lives for it.
mental level,
Yeah,
exactly.
it lives for it. Like it's really
John-
specific. He has an app where he tracks
Exactly.
the places visited, the places lived in. He has the premium membership to that app. So you get
Oh, do you?
Yeah, yeah, he gets
it
even more
was
features.
€2, right? It was
Shut
€2.
up, John. Yeah, it's even
Even money,
yeah, man,
likes
yes,
it.
even more features, you know. And yeah, he probably knows the percentage of the world and each continent that he has visited. So give us,
Of course he
give us-
knows. You
Yeah,
know
yeah,
he knows.
yeah, yeah.
I'm
Give it
not-
a little bit more.
I'm not, like I hate so okay, before I say it, and this is so typical of podcasts. I'm conscious no one can just say something, they have to go in a circle. But yeah, yeah, I don't like the idea of, oh, it's just a checkbox. I just want to cross the border quickly, and yeah, I've been to that country officially. I don't like, obviously I understand the criticism of that, and a lot of people, when I say I've been to all these places, that's like the first thing in their head. They're like, oh, this guy doesn't actually see
I
anything.
don't think anyone thinks that, man.
Oh,
Come
well,
on.
like
Who thinks that?
I don't know.
Do you do that?
I'm not gonna
Of
name drop.
crossing a
I
border?
think like no, I
No,
don't.
no, name drop. We'll cancel. I'm just
No,
kidding.
no.
do it.
Man,
No, it's
we don't
just
know what
certain
to
people.
cut.
Certain people just like that's what you just assume, just because it's a different way of traveling. But I do try to like make a connection with every country I go to, and I try to.
It's not that you just step
immerse
there.
myself.
You don't count layovers.
No, I mean, well,
We know someone who
No.
does. We know someone who does actually. No name drop.
but
Richard.
but so okay, so I've been to 49 countries now. I'm excited because with you guys this month we're going to Latvia,
50th country.
and that'll be my 50th country.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
Milestone.
just about a quarter of the world if you're saying like UN countries, 197. So
Wow.
yeah, I'm excited.
So wait, which percentage of the world?
Oh geez, it's like 26.
26.
It's like a quarter.
Okay, let me just like.
198.
Yeah.
You're going to 50 round.
Let me just check one thing.
Can you
Yeah.
dive deeper into? You just said that every country you travel to, you like to immerse yourself in the culture. That's something I haven't thought about you, but I've really seen this.
I don't.
Why?
I just so it's probably like the philosophy why I travel. One, escapism. I'm probably running away from responsibility, 100%. You want to psychoanalyze me, but I also
okay.
I'm not so much. I don't really enjoy like sun holiday. I don't really want to go to like a resort and just sit there at the beach. It's just not my thing. I get sunburnt and the sand is uncomfortable. I don't like sand.
Yeah. What about mountains?
Yeah, I love looking at mountains, and every time I see them, because I never lived near mountains, ever. When I see them, I'm like, wow, oh my god, that's crazy. I can't believe that's a thing.
But living up in the mountains, either is like summer or winter. Would that be cool for you?
Maybe. I
You've
mean,
never
I like
tried-
the ocean too, so I wouldn't want to go that far. I've always lived on
Yeah.
islands. But yeah, so when I go to the country, like I want to see the capital, see where places are going on, where decisions are being made, where regular people are. I want to do some of the cultural stuff, even if it's super touristy. I'm a sucker for it. Like I don't care. It's fun to be a tourist. You just gotta let yourself be it. I'm not like over the top trying to like only go to local scenes. I'll do both. I'll do both. But the best thing I can do is just wander around in the street and like see what happens. So yeah, that's what I try to do when I travel.
John, what's the best country you visited in Europe?
in Europe.
And why?
I don't like I don't like saying best or
The
worst.
one that
or-
you like the most.
that They're different types of trips is the problem. Like there's some trips where I do with friends and I party and I eat a lot and I like okay. And then
Agreed.
there's some trips where there's some trips where I go alone and I don't talk to as many people. I'm kind of quieter, more reserved. I'm just perceiving, going to
Yeah.
museums. I enjoy them both a lot.
Yeah, give me one and one then.
Okay, my
Get us the two categories and your favorite country per category.
my
Like
favorite country
alone
that I've
travel.
traveled
For
alone.
partying and one for culture.
my favorite one that I've gone alone to and felt like I could still have a very good time was Serbia.
Really?
Yeah, and
Belgrade?
I went to Belgrade. I didn't get to see much else outside of Belgrade, which is unfortunate, but I had a great time. I mean, I think people won't deny it's some of the best nightlife.
Yeah, how long do you stay there for?
3 days.
3 days, okay. And wait, that was a culture visit or a partying
Yeah,
one?
yeah. I mean, I was alone.
Okay.
Completely alone. But
So you prefer like this one over Germany, over any other like Western European city or Eastern European city too?
I love
really?
Eastern Europe, but yes, I do also love Germany. I'm a
Yeah.
big fan. I've been there like 7 times, but I
Serbia,
I had
unexpected.
in Belgrade at least compared to a lot of other cities I visited like Prague. I was by myself, and yet the nightlife was still very fun. It can be hard to have a fun nightlife by yourself.
Yeah, like did people like get to know you? They approached you?
Yeah, like people were very friendly. I kept getting spoken to in Serbian,
Yeah.
which was cool. It was like honestly, if like everyone says Belgrade's very fun for a night out, and it's true. And I was alone. I'd love to go with friends, but also a very cool city. Like very hilly, lots of history. I know that there's a lot of tension between the countries
Yeah.
there, and I'd like to see the
Serbia
other.
and the others,
I'd like
yeah,
to see the
former
other Balkan
Yugoslavia.
countries because the Balkans are like the one bit of Europe I've not touched other than Serbia.
Oh, you haven't been to like Croatia,
Never,
Slovenia?
never. I want to go to Albania. I really want to see Croatia. I really want to see Slovenia. Always wanted to go there. But anyway,
More than I like Croatia more.
I know Croatia's popular. I know Croatia's like a
I've been
good
to
spot.
Slovenia as well. Yeah, Slovenia is so clean, works so perfectly. I really like.
I know. I hear
wind.
that. It's very
Huh?
underrated. I think
The wind.
What?
What is clean?
Slovenia.
Slovenia.
Oh.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I love Belgrade. And then,
Culturally, which one?
ooh,
What does it mean culturally?
Well, then he went to that place and he was like, "Oh, this place just like there's so much culture here."
Or that he will see himself.
No, he just visited the places, just visited museums. I don't know, sightseeing, whatever.
okay.
He walks a lot when he visits stuff. Like he makes
Oh,
you
I know,
walk.
I know.
Yeah.
I really liked Denmark. I was there very recently. It's not like their history is very unknown to me.
Really?
Other than like
Well, the Viking.
not even that, more like royal families.
Oh yeah.
all
yeah.
related to each other in Europe and all these palaces and whatever. But that was just kind of recent. It's probably recency bias because I was there recently. I really like Germany. I will always like Germany. Going back, I've been all over Germany and I love it.
Where have you been to?
Oh, okay. So I went to Dresden with the Goethe Institute to learn German for a month. I don't speak German.
Goethe Institute from Bahrain, right?
From Bahrain, yeah, that was a great
What?
opportunity. I was 17.
Yeah.
Yeah, they paid for everything. I went to Berlin, Leipzig, Meissen, Chemnitz, all over East.
So also
East
yeah,
Germany.
Eastern Germany. Yeah, I like
Then-
it too.
Then I went to Frankfurt. Did not like Frankfurt.
Why
neither.
not?
It's just a
No.
big. It's
So
it's
it's
not
just-
interesting.
Yeah, man.
It's
Not interesting to you because you've seen similar cities.
well, I've seen way better cities.
I mean, also, man, I don't want to get cancelled or anything, but there's like, no, it's like seriously, like a serious drug problem there.
Okay,
feel
I've
like if
never
you-
been.
Now, if you pull up
Oh,
statistics,
okay.
man, is a serious one, and they also have shooting centers for these particular reasons to get addicts out of the street, so that tourists don't get alarmed or anything. But yeah, I think
Yeah, it's not like
yeah.
idyllic.
It's not ideally,
Germany, and
yeah.
it's very businessy, very serious. It's
Yeah,
not like
it is.
So then, but from there, I went to Heidelberg, which is lovely. I went to the Black Forest, which is lovely.
Yeah.
I went to
It's near where you're from, right? The
Yeah.
Black Forest.
no,
No?
no, you're from up further
No.
north.
No, you're from. You're from.
No, man, it's not where.
Oh, where are you from? Aachen?
Man, I don't want to.
Come on, you
here,
can
man.
say it,
What is
come on.
this? Gonna call me out.
Yeah, say it.
My family's from Essen.
Essen,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. I've not been to like the north, central, west. But then Stuttgart, where my dad lived for a while. Munich a few times, love it. Füssen to see like the big castle, Neuschwanstein or whatever. Baden-Baden, which is also near the border with France. So I went to Strasbourg.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, love Germany.
Yeah.
Shout out Germany.
Did
Shout
you
out
go
to
so many
Germany.
times? Because shout out Germany. Did you go so many times because your father was living there, or
Yeah, when I moved to Dublin, he was in Germany, so that was like the closest family, and then also just went on my own like nice place.
would you see yourself living there?
I could live there. I feel like I want to. Sometimes I'll have this thing where I want to just move to Germany, learn German properly, like get it back and use it every day. But then other days I'm like,
Such a struggle.
yeah, and German's not easy, and also just like some things about Germany I don't love.
Like what?
Like Sundays are very boring there.
Yeah, really quiet.
Very quiet.
Yeah.
I
it
love
depends where you
I
are.
love
Maybe
the-
Munich is different though.
Yeah, absolutely.
They have party
absolutely,
nights.
absolutely. But I love like the structure and order. But then on the other hand, sometimes they go a little bit too hard on the rules.
That's exactly what I think. But I do feel the same like you about France, like going there, living their culture, get to learn their language pretty well. Because unless you're living there, you'll never get
It's so
the
hard.
the full grip of
Yeah, it's
what's
so
their
hard.
culture and even their language.
Impossible. Yeah.
You think so?
What do you mean?
Like,
I feel
yeah.
like you have to live their experience to
Yeah.
really
Even just for
understand
practicing the
culture.
language, just straight
I
up
mean,
like
but sometimes I met some guys that were like speaking to me in Italian, like they lived in Italy for 5 years, but they never got the chance to come, or maybe they just came and visited for 2 days. I was like, "How did you learn?" They were like, "Oh yeah, YouTube."
Obviously,
very
you
impressive.
you can learn the language, but you can't learn the culture through YouTube. Well, you can learn it,
I
but
think
really
you can, man.
dive deep into it and be part of the culture.
there's so many of
is
those
difficult.
cheesy videos. I hate them. Where there's like
Teaching you slangs.
where it's just like British person versus Australian slang or snacks and you're like, oh my god, how many videos of these are? There's
You
hundreds
mean our
and hundreds.
Lord and Savior Eric Singer?
Yeah, or oh no, I love Eric Singer. That's not the
Shout
same.
out Eric Singer.
Yeah.
Man. For anyone
He's
who
the
doesn't,
best.
do you know Eric Singer?
No.
Please, John.
What is that?
Let's
He's
try,
a- he's
let's
a-
shine some light on these people.
No,
Come on.
he's really cool. He's a linguist. He studies language. He studies accents, and he trains actors.
No,
No,
go
no,
on.
no.
Oh, go on. Oh, from
It's with
Kiss.
the K. It's Eric with the K.
Put like, yeah. Try that.
There
Yeah,
we go.
yeah.
That's
Oh
it.
man,
That's
he's
it.
he's the goat.
Oh,
Dialect
he's so
coach.
cool. He's a dialect coach. He's so cool.
You can go
he
on
knows.
videos.
Yeah, he has these videos. Check him out, where he'll
With
just like
Wyatt.
break down accents around the U.S. or he'll break down accents of specific
Yeah.
people, like Nelson Mandela.
Or like how to distinguish a New Zealander from a South African or an Australian.
Right.
Yeah.
Very cool videos.
It's very cool videos, man.
It makes me want to learn. It makes me want to do a whole degree in linguistics, but then I'm
Yeah.
like, well, probably not very.
You
good.
actually sent him your audio.
I
for
sent
him to
I sent
analyze
him my audio because he asked for volunteers to send him audio clips so he can use them in videos.
Yeah.
So I sent him my audio, but I think my accent's not very helpful because it's not like tied to a region. So
Yeah.
I don't know when he'd use that, but yeah, I'm a big fan.
Yeah, because I saw recently one of his videos, which was about like New York against Boston and how
Sure.
to differentiate them. And I don't know, they just sound really cool, man. He's really nice. Yeah.
Does he teach too, or do you just?
I think he's a dialect coach for actors.
Yeah, he teaches
He
you how
gets
to do
hired.
accents.
Yeah, he gets hired to prepare actors for roles, and apparently he does a good job because everyone he prepares does an amazing work.
I found that so fascinating because I found this online too, and it wasn't this person probably, but all the actors doing U.S. accents or British accents on movies, and they're not from there. They're trained on that, and they speak fully perfectly in that accent, so you can learn it.
Even beyond that, like Austin Butler became Elvis with his dialect coach. Some people just have their own accent, like Mandela, like Elvis, that are just different from everyone else, and you have to learn.
But don't you think that is with the case of Austin Butler is a bit exaggerated? Like he's probably using it. I don't know. It just feels weird because like
It is kind of weird hearing him in, in interviews
hearing him
now, and he just
speaking
can't
with the
stop
Elvis
it.
voice. Yeah.
It's really weird.
I also think it doesn't help with his like hiring for new roles. You know?
He's gonna have to move. But if he can do that, then hopefully he can change.
I
to
think
another
he's such a
accent.
method actor that he can get hired.
It's a little
for
over
new
the
stuff.
top, the Elvis thing, because it's
I
not like
think
an
so.
accent you want to just
Because
have.
I'm like, okay, do you know who Daniel Day-Lewis?
Yeah.
He's like probably. Then if you don't know it, just Google it quickly. He won 3 Academy Awards for main actors, all of them. He's probably one of the top 3 actors.
This guy.
Yeah, and he's known for method
Gladiator.
acting. Yeah, Gladiator.
No.
No, he did. Fuck, what's the
I'll
name?
just click on it. Let's see.
There will be blood. Yeah, just go into his bio.
The Last of
Phantom
Us.
Thread. The Boxer.
Oh,
No, that's
wait,
no.
that's
Just go
a-
on Wikipedia, not
lot to watch.
IMDb. Wait. Lincoln, which is another great movie, and he's just
jeez,
known for
Lincoln.
he's just known for method acting, and it really deep dives into his role so much that, okay, for Gangs of New York, for example, he had to wear like a prosthetic eye, and he learned to like pinch his own eye with the top of a knife to show that
What?
it was like to show
His
that it
real
was-
eye.
No, he was like wearing like
Oh,
a
prosthetic
contact
and
no
he-
no like a glass contact lens just to show that the eye like could look fake a little bit. You know that like kind of glass
Yeah.
reflection that you have on the eye if you're wearing a prosthetic. He has learned to wear that one, and he also learned how to pinch it with the top of the knife to show to someone else that it was fake. It was a fake eye, right? So it's just like it deep dives into stuff. For the Last of the Mohican actually built himself in the jungle, like a wooden house, and he built it from scratch. And all of a sudden, man, at 60, he has a burnout, and he goes like, I'm never gonna act anymore. He retired from the scene. I think he lives in Northern Ireland right now, and he
he
makes,
Irish?
He makes shoes. No, he's Irish heritage, but he's born in England. I think his father was Irish. Yeah. But like this guy, he deep dives into roles, and he used to deep dive into roles and be methodical and everything to the point where maybe it was too much. And yet, every time he was done with it, he was coming back to his old persona, right? So that's why I wonder, how did it work for Austin Butler? Is he just making it up, or
Yeah.
it helps
I
with
don't
his?
know.
It gets talked about, so it helps with popularity. I don't know. Feels weird.
Maybe he forgot about Austin Butler, and now it's just the Elvis Austin Butler.
It's
He got too much into character.
it's just a weird character to be stuck in. It's the
Yeah,
Elvis
Elvis,
character.
you know, yeah. I don't know. It feels weird. Anyways, man, let's go back to what we were talking about. I had an interesting question about like coping with the fact that you're like changing countries every once in a while. I wondered, so I did therapy myself for like when I was young, when I was in high school, for helping with dark thoughts or anything that troubles your life. Did you ever have that thought, or did you ever feel like you had the need for it? Because at least for me, I feel like in your situation, I would have definitely needed it.
My mom sent me to a child psychologist just because my dad in the Navy, it's another dynamic, is that he'd go on deployment for like 6 to 9 months at a time, so he'd be gone a lot. So she always thought like this kid needs to talk to someone about it. So I remember that when I was pretty young, but I stopped that after I left California. And I probably everyone needs therapy from time to time, but I've never really done it. I'm like definitely have a lot of existential crises and identity crisis constantly.
Because like it was, I feel like we spoke together about it. You were like feeling at home somewhere, right?
Yeah, I don't know if I'll ever have that, which is
Do
weird.
you ever think like you're gonna set up somewhere and spend the rest of your life there as a base?
I feel like I have to eventually, but I'm no rush, and I don't know where it's gonna be yet. So
The U.S. could it be?
I won't say never, but I definitely like. I don't see that. Like for context, this year 2023 will be 10 years since I left, 10 years since I've stepped foot in the US. I've not gone back to visit. I feel like when I do, which I'm overdue a visit, it'll be kind of like culture shock. I
Yeah.
don't know. I think it's going to be weird for me. Um, I'm not going to be used to everything. So I don't know. I can't even tell you if I
What
can
about
settle
studying bass in Brazil?
Probably not going to happen. Yeah, like I'm Brazilian, always will be. I'm proud of it too. I have a passport. I speak Portuguese, but I didn't grow up there. I don't think I.
You would fit in.
No, I think even less than in the U.S. because my Portuguese is home, like used at home Portuguese. I don't have the slang. I don't have the cultural knowledge because I
Figure of
didn't watch the
speech.
TV shows. I don't know, like I don't know these things, or at least I watched American TV and movies.
I bet it would. But look at you. You've been 2 years in Ireland right now,
Yeah,
and you already know lots about the Irish culture and probably their lingo, their slang, their figures of speech. So I think you can do the same in Brazil.
I'd love to spend some time there and reconnect with it as an adult as well. I've never been to Brazil as an adult, never been to the U.S. as an adult. I'd love to reconnect and just kind of spend some time there and see what happens. But I don't think I can settle down. I can't say I'm going to settle down in Brazil because I don't know how it's going to be. I don't know. I don't know if I'd fit in. I don't know what I would do. Yeah. So, yeah, when you ask me, like, yeah, a lot of identity crisis. I don't know if I'll ever have like a place I feel at home, which is kind of daunting. I don't like to think about that. I guess anywhere
Doesn't
I
have to be.
make,
Doesn't
I
have to
can,
be, man.
yeah, like I
Yeah.
can make myself at home anywhere, kind of. I just will never, I'm never gonna be Irish, right? Never gonna be German. I'll always be American Brazilian, but I'll always be kind of not fully American, not fully Brazilian. But it's not a unique problem. Like I know a lot of people are between cultures. Um, Dan is too himself, and it's just and a lot of people like me, military children, have moved around a lot. So there is like a whole subgroup of people
Man,
like
I
me.
have a curiosity question. I
Yeah.
was googling people that lived in your same situation, and it came out. A word came out, and I wonder if you recognize by this word. It's military brat. Is that correct?
Yeah, military brat is just like
It sounded so bad. I was like, brat.
I don't know why that's the term. I don't know
You
the
would have got
history of that.
offended or something.
I don't know. I don't know the history of that, but it's just what you call like I'm a Navy brat because my dad was in the Navy.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
just yeah. That's
Yeah,
exactly
yeah,
what it
because I
is.
never heard you defining yourself with that one. Like,
No, I think it's a little cringy.
yeah, it's like a short summary of your like the reason why you.
But that
visited
makes
so many
sense for
countries.
Americans. I'm not. If I told Dan I was a
We would
Navy
say,
brat when
"What
I
is
met him,
that?"
he'd be
Yeah.
like, "What does that mean?"
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right. So I'm not going to use that when I meet
Yeah, no,
people.
for sure.
If you talk about what we just talked about, not feeling home
yeah.
anywhere, how do you deal with the thought? Do you accept the thought that you'll never feel home anywhere at 100%? Like, for example, for me, I have accepted that. I go to Germany and I feel like, wow, like this is that my heart belongs here. But then, well, I feel like not the 100% of my heart belongs here. And then you go to Spain, oh wow, like this is home. And then you feel like I'm not 100% home either. So
Yeah.
I just accepted the fact that this is how it will always be, and I'll go to one place, enjoy the things there, go to another place, enjoy the things there. Maybe at one point I'll go to a third place where I can call my home and love the things there too. So just
Yeah,
accepting
I
the
agree.
fact.
I don't think I have like a crazy, unique. Like lots of people are in my situation. Lots of people don't have like a full
Yeah,
home.
but man,
and I
also,
yeah,
yeah,
I'll
don't
accept it.
overthink it because like I've been spending my whole life in Italy, and I moved here, and now whenever I go back to Italy, yeah, I feel home simply because like my family's there. But if I had to move my family to another country, I would feel home in that place.
Really?
Yeah,
I
like
wouldn't.
when I go back home, you know, I also consider Ireland right now my home because it's where you have the main connections of your life. That at least for me is home, and yeah, I remember that like when I got used to living here and I was going back every 4 months to Italy, I would not recognize the place anymore, and the people around me, I would be like, okay, this feels weird. I feel out of place. So yeah, it's also almost like imposter syndrome. I don't know.
Yeah.
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 So yeah, it's not just for people like John that lived
No,
all over
no,
the
I
place.
agree.
I think it's with everyone. Like as soon as you get to step outside the box and get to see new cultures, of course you're gonna challenge the one in which you were living.
I
Yeah.
agree with what you say, but for example, for me, you're saying that if you would move your family to Ireland, for example, that would be your home. But for me, it will never be able to replace the roots you have in your two countries, from you in Italy. Like that, you can't replace. The family, the legacy your family has been building in Italy or in other countries is not something you'll have in Ireland. While it's for in Ireland, if you live here for your life, have kids and grandkids and everything, your legacy is built here, and they would feel like Ireland is their have. It has roots for them.
I am the legacy of my father though. If my father is with me in one country,
Exactly, but you here have no roots. Like I'm saying, for me, I wouldn't feel like I have the
I'm
roots
trying
here.
I'm trying to understand your point. Yeah, it's
But
just that
if-
you are your own root.
Yeah, but I plan my roots here, but it is not very deep. But my grandkids will have deep roots here, so they will feel like Ireland has their roots. But
Yeah, the
for
good
me,
thing
I
is-
can't do it.
The good thing is also Dublin is a place with a lot of people from a lot of different countries.
Yeah.
Mostly Europe, but still like tons of people from all over here. So
Lots of Brazilians too.
lots of Brazilians, lots of Brazilians. I wasn't expecting that when I moved. But my dad, like you talk about roots, no matter where he was, he always felt very connected to home, his home. And
US.
he's moved,
Kentucky.
Yeah, Kentucky, and he's moved back there.
Is he from Louisville?
No,
Okay.
he's from the middle of nowhere. He's from a place called Sandy Hook, which is like
Okay. Is he gonna listen to the podcast?
I don't think so. He's
You
not
can
on,
send it to
he's
him,
not on
man.
Instagram or anything.
Okay. Spotify.
Shout out John Stad.
He's not on Spotify.
Shout out Gary.
Yeah. No, he listens to music on YouTube for
Oh,
context.
okay.
But
We're gonna get on.
Coming
we're gonna
soon,
get.
coming
We're gonna
soon.
get on YouTube soon. Don't worry.
Yeah. No, but he always felt very connected. He's moved back and like he's happy there. So fair enough to him. My mom, on the other hand, always will love Brazil, have that connection to Brazil. She goes back to visit a lot. She has family there. She's with a Brazilian man. But she's very happy living abroad. She has her American citizenship. She moved there when she was in her 20s. She's been like decades now outside Brazil. She's not looked back. She doesn't really have plans to settle down there. So, yeah, that's just people are different. I just don't know where I'm going to settle yet, and I don't think I have to know yet. But I know it's not going to be Ireland, I'll tell you that.
Out of nowhere.
Wait. Tell us
was
why.
I don't know. It's just like it's not.
It's such a dynamic country.
Yeah, it's a lot of movement. People come and go here,
Yeah. Like
especially
Harvard.
Dublin. I'm talking Dublin.
Young people.
I can't say Ireland because I haven't lived in the rest of Ireland. I can say Dublin.
And in general, in the circles you move
Yeah.
in, that's what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Not in
exactly. And I have a few more moves in me anyway. Maybe I'll come back.
You're 23. I have a few more-
Exactly.
Probably you can go for the next 10 years or so.
I
like,
could keep moving.
I have
Fair
a few
enough.
more
You know what?
moves,
The
like,
ideal would be
He's
if
gonna
I-
retire.
This is the last one.
This is the last one, boys.
I'm,
I'm done.
yeah, I'm not tired of moving. I am tired of packing stuff and trying to fit it in suitcases. That's not fun anymore. I don't even want to leave this house because I think about I have to
Yeah.
get my desk out of
I
that
mean,
room.
you don't have a lot of packages.
That desk is gonna
yeah,
be.
the desk is huge.
If
Yeah.
you move to another country, you might as well just sell the desk and get another one. Is
Yeah,
it so good that you
no,
have to?
yeah, that is a pro.
The desk was free. It's hard.
Yeah, but
Well,
I
it's gonna
think
get, yeah, you can flip it and make some money.
Yeah, hopefully, if I can get out of that room.
you have all your stuff here.
No, man, no. I don't even know.
Some is in Bahrain.
This is this is crazy. Yeah, obviously tons of stuff in Bahrain. I don't even know what I left there, but I couldn't bring everything. I could bring a suitcase, and then
Only one,
I brought one check-in suitcase.
and the carry-on.
Yeah, but I bought a ton of stuff since I've been here, like shoes and clothes and winter clothes I didn't really own. But then in Rhode Island, when I was leaving Rhode Island when I was 13, we couldn't take everything to Bahrain. We had to put a ton of stuff in storage. That's how it works. We get like a certain amount of
You pay
allowance.
like a monthly fee.
Well, so the military would pay, and then now when my dad moved back to the U.S., he picked it all up from storage and drove it to. Now it's in like a shed in Kentucky, probably rotting. But I don't know. I don't even remember what I left there. It was a decade ago. I have no clue what's in there. Probably like
That's super good, man. Because like sometimes people they just keep shit for years, and that's not good.
I am.
But I
I'm
kept
on the
it. It's
fence
mine
there.
still. I still have it.
Some things you know Marie Kondo, I think is the name.
Marie Kondo.
Yeah,
Can
it's
you,
like
can you search it?
is this maybe that's just the name of her system. Okay.
I think like he has minimalist.
Oh
Marie
yeah,
Kondo.
she's
It's
sick.
Marie Kondo.
she
so-
she
Also
like
known as
organizes stuff.
He's a Japanese organizing consultant.
She talks
Okay.
about this,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that is
She a
supporting.
You
minimalist?
don't need this stuff.
Sorry.
Is she a minimalist?
She teaches you to like keep the things you really need, and a lot of people, she mixes it with psychology where a lot of things you own are tied to your thoughts in your mind. So
Yeah,
for
it's
example,
like a fetish. Yeah.
for example, not like I'm gonna say there's a classic example of someone who her husband, for example, died years ago, and she still keeps her clothes.
I mean,
And
who wouldn't
mentally,
do that,
you have
though?
the baggage in your mind that it's still there, and once you throw it away, you release like you have so much more space in your mind, and you're free of that.
I mean, I agree with that, but like sometimes you just, as a person, you shouldn't forget it.
Exactly. What throw? Yeah, I know, not to throw it away, but it's a lot of like mental baggage in your mind. So that's what I'm saying. Like that's why I'm on the fence. On a couple of things, I would say no. Don't keep this. You keep things forever. I do that too, and you'll never use it. But for other things, I like to take them, touch them, look at them, say, "Wow, like this is when I was 10 years old. I really have a deep connection with this object." Or this T-shirt. T-shirts I still
I
keep.
keep t-shirts. I keep t-shirts that are like for like my school t-shirt. From
Oh,
Yeah.
t-shirts.
26
Okay,
I
I
have,
thought
like-
t-shirts.
or
I
my
was like,
hoodie
No.
from when I was in ninth grade, class of 2017 or whatever. I
What's
keep
the
that
oldest
stuff.
thing you own in your room?
Oh, and here I have a coin collection. But they're not that old. I don't know. What do you mean? Like,
Like
most-
an object that you have kept from your childhood or anything.
no, I don't have anything. I don't have anything.
Then?
Here no, and my mom keeps that stuff, and I probably have some stuff too. when I
On the
was
bright
eight.
side, if and when I ever do go to Kentucky, it'll be like opening a time capsule, and I
That's
get to
cool,
see
that's
whatever
cool.
13-year-old me decided to leave behind.
Yeah.
Probably like
Wow.
Hot Wheels, Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I'm assuming is gonna be in there.
But also
Just like
remember,
useless stuff.
Like childhood books.
Yeah, VHS. No, those are gone. That was a few moves before. But DVDs,
Like
like
agendas where you had to write shit for school.
oh, that
I
was.
keep
I always
those.
kept so much of those,
Huh?
and then I was
I
like,
keep
this
those.
is such
Notebooks,
a
yeah.
waste of space. I threw everything away.
No, I'm
My mom
referring
kept
to,
them all. My mom kept them all.
But
The,
like
the notebooks for like I don't know different subjects at school.
Yeah.
I had a ton of those, man. I think we ended up throwing this away, but I keep the notebooks I had for writing down homework and stuff like that. That's what we used at German school.
So organized.
Yeah, so I
They're
keep that.
categorized with dates. This is them from 2011
Yeah, I
to
don't know.
2012.
I don't know how it was in
It
your
comes
school. but
pre-organized.
I used to go.
Such
to
an organized
towards the end of my high school, and this is when school was getting very serious. And I used to go to school with a few pieces of paper and a pen.
Like
in my
pen,
bag.
pen.
Just
like
like,
a
a
big-
pen, or I'd like lose the pen, find another one on the floor.
Which age?
Like 16, 17.
Okay. Well, that's the age when you start like leaving shit at home and not bringing it anymore.
Yeah, I
Because
didn't.
at like 6, you have like the big.
No, I
pencil
had fat
case.
binder, and it was super organized
Yeah.
with tabs.
Then probably
pencil
has
case,
6 different
different-
pencils with 6
Yeah,
different
pencil cases.
Yeah.
Those were
Yeah,
huge
but
in
like
Japan,
huge
too.
ones, you
The
had
huge
like
ones,
three
man.
different.
Yeah, like 3 different levels
Yeah.
with 16 pencils.
Yeah, and we used to have. Did they have this at your school? We used to have binder checks where the teacher would come and make sure that our binders actually organized properly with the right tabs.
Oh my
This is
god, that's
so
like
dumb.
frisking, like police frisking.
Yeah, and you get a grade for it too.
Wow, I mean,
we
that's-
hated
Oh,
those
that's
days.
cool, man.
That's cool.
It's for free.
No,
Like, yeah,
it
you're
teaches you to be
Yeah, but it
organized.
didn't help me because I was not organized. It was bad
you-
for me.
Okay, bad for you,
Yeah,
but,
but
I
like
think it's a good
the
idea.
purpose was for you to become organized.
It was for the kids who didn't actually do any work but were organized. They got a good grade. Good for them. But I did all the work. I did well in the tests, and I was not organized.
Did you have in your schools? How did the grading work? It's just for the test, and now this binder check, and that was a final
No,
grade?
there's tons of different stuff. It depends on the class, but we'd have projects that were worth something, and then we'd have homework, and then we'd have in-class work. We'd have tests, quizzes, and then just random things. Yeah, it just depended on the teacher.
Have you heard about it? So you moved in Japan at what age exactly? 7, 8?
Yeah, I'm having a hard time remembering now.
Probably
To be
7
honest,
or
but
8,
I was
right?
like 8, 7 or 8.
So I
Yeah.
was reading an article about Japanese education that was mentioning that Japanese people don't get to learn particular subjects until they are a certain age. Before then, they just learn organization, discipline, and like I don't know, we call it bonton, but it's like manners at school, so that they become like good humans, and then they get to learn them subject. They get to learn subjects, right? I was wondering if you ever heard of that, and if you went through kind of the same experience.
I went to an American school, so no.
Okay.
But my sister would have. She had like, honestly, these kids were awesome. They had like little cubbies. They'd walk in, put their shoes in as they arrive. Very organized. Hang their little backpack. They had their little uniforms, which I'm not
Sean
used
would
to.
arrive, smash
No,
the
but these
back.
kids, they were very disciplined. I think the teachers were very intense, though. On the other hand, like
Would they like
yelling.
beat the children up?
I don't know about beating, but my
What?
sister got like a slap
Really?
once, and,
What?
and my
Yeah,
mom
yeah.
freaked.
In Italy, like we like at kindergarten, you got sent to the nuns.
The nuns.
That's
Yeah.
maybe
That's
if
been
you've
illegal
to-
for a long time in the U.S.
Ah man, I wish it was. And well, not all of them are evil, but like what they would do is like sometimes they would just beat you up. You know,
but
Beat
how-
you
how-
up.
well, beat you up.
Maybe
like,
maybe a little slap.
they would slap you. They like back in the
On the
days
face?
when my parents were raised, it was normal to slap.
Yeah,
students.
parents maybe.
With my generation, man, they would slap you. They would like pull you from your hair, or
Wow.
pull you from your
That's
hair.
bad.
I was pulled from my hair a couple of times. That's why I have a big forehead, man. And from my ears, big ears. You know? So yeah, no, that's normal. Like I guess we're Japanese too.
Not normal. Look, not normal in my generation in the U.S. And some of my mom saw some. And my sister was like 4. She didn't want to go to school. Okay, she was on the little bus. She was crying, and the bus attendant or the teacher on the bus like slapped her.
Yeah.
To make her stop talking, and my
And
mom
you-
saw it, and she freaked. She was like, she called the school, and she was like, "What's going on? That is not happening. No way you can hit my kid." And they were so apologetic.
You
but-
think that by like quick question, because I feel I am conscious of time, but do you ever feel like violence like these particular scenarios can be justified sometimes if someone just goes all over the top?
Jeez, what a question. I don't
Like a
think-
children like a child starts like fucking yelling in a class, right? And during a test, and I don't know, I'm just wondering, putting yourself in the teacher's mind, if you can't stop him, what
I don't
what
think you
would
should
do?
hit kids.
I-
I'm not
I'm
a
asking-
teacher.
It's your
I don't
parents'
think I can.
problem.
I'm asking because like I remember that they used to send me to after school Latin's lesson and in middle school
Latin?
Latin, yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry, guys.
No, it's fine.
and the teacher there was pretty known for slapping students sometimes when they were exaggerating, and to me just looked all over the top. You know, everything could have been changed about his behavior. So I wonder if it can ever be justified. You know.
No, especially not other people's children. But I don't think you should hit kids. Like it's just
Yeah.
not. There's better ways.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be a teacher because I don't know how to deal with kids that are like
Yeah,
screaming.
it's tough, man. It's tough. I've been teaching to kids, and they were like 10 years old to, sorry, actually, no, 6 years old to 14 years old, man. And some of the brats, man, you just, it's tough to manage them.
When I did my volunteering in Nepal as a teacher, I taught children
Beating them up.
from many ages, and the ones that were younger, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
You were kind of
They look
hired
up to you.
as a
Yeah,
English
yeah,
teacher,
yeah.
but I did biology, everything, like super simple stuff. Like from children that were like 6 years old, 5 years old,
Yeah.
7, 8, and 10, and then the last weeks I taught not children or more teenagers, 15, 16. That was really tough because they are like in the era where they
developing their
try to impress
personality, yeah.
everyone. One tries to be the one
cool
that,
guy in the class.
exactly, the cool guy that doesn't listen to you, doesn't care what you're saying.
Yeah.
Everyone looks up to him. So if he doesn't listen and does other stuff, they all do it.
Yeah, man, it's really easy to get bullied as a teacher with that age, particularly. I don't know. Well, bullied is not the right word, but yeah, sometimes they just don't want to listen to you. I wonder how my sister does it because she's a teacher, middle school and high school, and I feel like those are the hardest times, no?
It's hard, and now I've been thinking about this. How would I would never be a teacher, but I like to teach something from time to time. Maybe not in school, but
how would you approach it? Because I had teachers that were super strict, like even to the point that I was afraid of them, never touched or anything, but they were super strict. Or others that try to be more a friend with you. And I don't support a teacher being your friend, because they're supposed to teach me.
Yeah,
not
I
to
feel
be
like you should
cool with
detach
me.
yourself.
What?
You should detach yourself from the student. Like, you're not their friend.
Exactly.
You can
Cool
be their
teachers
mentor.
that were friendly with us and treated us with like dignity and were like, yeah, your friend kind of, are the ones that are more memorable, what I learned more from,
Yeah,
than
but,
like the angry
Yeah,
person.
no, I
who's-
agree with that. Totally not the angry ones. But what I'm saying is, if someone is just friendly with you, you might consider him more of a friend than a mentor. So
Then you have
gotta
to-
draw a line there.
But also not to the point where John is saying to like being afraid of him.
No, no, absolutely not. No, because
It's
otherwise
just a
you
sweet spot.
No, man, because that in your brain you would classify that subject as shitty because of the professor.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's-
yeah.
That's how it happens with me for mathematics. I
Yeah,
never
me
had, like, a
too.
good
I've only
professor.
like a lot of my
Yeah.
math teachers.
But my English teachers, my French teachers, my Italian teachers, they were amazing, man.
Because why?
Social sciences
Because they
too.
were your friend, or they were in that sweet spot.
Some
where-
of them were super disciplined, and they would maybe yell at you. I remember that, like at middle school, one teacher, the teacher of Italian, was like, "You're picking a high school that is this level, and you're this level. You're never gonna make it."
Wow.
Yeah, yeah, and that was a tough blow, man. But then I learned to cope with that, right? Some other teachers were amazing, man. They would just say, "Oh, you're doing so great," or they would
And
pump
were
you
you?
up. They would hype you. They would
Okay.
hype you so you would do even better, right? Or they would start building your foundations if you weren't good enough, so that then you would have been able to step to the next level. I feel like I had all over the ones that I didn't like the most were the one who didn't have any more passion about their subject.
That is a very good one, man.
It's all
That
about
is
that.
something I truly look up to. Like someone that we're talking about teachers, but anyone, any job. Like if we keep it at teachers, a teacher that is really passionate about the job, that really started teaching because they were passionate about teaching and wanted to teach young children something. You really see that,
Yeah.
and you really can tell. And that's something I would really look up to. Don't you think?
Yeah. I mean, like, yeah, it's hard. Sometimes I think some teachers, I even in my, if I were to teach and I were to get to like 50, it could probably be pretty draining teaching the exact same biology class every year
Yeah.
for their whole life. So kudos if they do it for the right reasons, they can stay passionate, but it's hard. You're not really progressing in biology if you're teaching the same biology every year.
Yeah, it freaks you out. Yeah, how do you still manage to keep that passion? Also, because we're used to a corporate world where the more you work, the more you get promoted, the more money you make, and the bigger you become. But these teachers, they gotta put in their minds that they're gonna do for 20 years the same job. Well, it's really hard.
There's
At least in-
private schools and
yeah,
public,
but in my
I don't know, or-
my sister, she's a teacher at a private school, right? But right now she won the I don't know, like they make tests in order to enter the state school, the state system, okay? And she won that test and she managed to pass. But the thing is that
like huge exams. you're
yeah,
saying.
huge exam, yeah.
Yeah, she has to study a lot.
Yeah, she has to study a lot and she has to classify it in a tier. But the thing is, for the next 20 years, most likely she'll get to be if she passes to a state school, to be a teacher in the same position, teaching to the same kids of the same age, right? And the best that can happen to you after 15 years is that maybe you get promoted to a researcher position for which you don't get paid a lot in a university, and then maybe you manage to get the desk at a university. Getting a desk at university is when you finally made it. Means that you're 50, you're teaching at a uni, and you're making a lot of money. But that's like a really tough career path.
I think maybe for you, you're applying your corporate vision to university, and if you do that, then maybe it wouldn't work out for you. But that's why you're not there. But maybe what I look up to a
Thank you,
lot.
Dan. Yeah.
It's true.
No,
What
it's true, it's true.
I have friends that are, or at least one friend who's studying this, and I think like being a teacher is super important. And maybe they don't want to do what you just said, like escalate this ladder. They just want to inspire people or children, teach them, like really, really teach. That's their
Sure.
passion, and that's what they want to concentrate on. They don't think about, climbing the corporate ladder because that's not what they signed up for. That's what, like, if someone does it, like, just goes into it for the passion of teaching, that's what I would, if that's
But
what, how
like,
they're gonna be successful.
The thing is that how do you manage to see the reward? Because our teachers, they did like for, I don't know, English, they did a great job, but you're not in touch with them. How do they know they did a great job? You know, it's hard to probably for them it's so fulfilling when a student comes back to the school after 5 years and said, "Oh, thank you so much for the things you taught me." But like the last time I visited them after I graduated high school, probably it's been two years later, and then I disappeared. You know, I never saw them anymore. So I think like it's hard to keep track on that. So yeah,
It's tough,
I agree with what you're saying. On the other hand, I also think that, you know, teachers have a lot of time to dedicate to side hustle. Looking at my sister, so I don't know. I was like, oh, you can record a podcast. You can like record yourself and sell the courses to someone else. So there's stuff that you can do to make more revenue if that's what you want to do, because you stagnate in the same salary for a lot of time.
Yeah, but again, I think you're thinking with your vision being a teacher, but that's why you're not a teacher.
Well, no, but think about it. Not a lot of teachers get paid a lot, at least in my country. And
I know, I understand.
if they're trying to buy a house or anything, they might have to do this stuff because, you know, you can't rely on just on your salary.
But you, for example, want to climb that ladder and you're ready to pay the price. But some people might say, look, I want to inspire my children, my
Yeah.
and just teach them things. That's what I want to do. I'm passionate about biology or about Italian grammar. And that's what I want to teach. And I want to live in this small house in this
Are
village.
you passionate about Italian grammar, John?
It's one of my favorites.
But there's people there, and they're valuable because if they wouldn't exist, you would have no
Absolutely.
idea about Italian grammar. And the
Bro.
fact that that person didn't want to climb that ladder enabled you to know about Italian grammar.
Bro, absolutely. Like, shout out to Italian,
Shout-
shout out to Italian grammar.
Right? How do you say it in school in Italy? How do you call the teachers? Like,
Isn't
miss
that
something?
Professori.
Professori.
Professori
You
is
call them
plural.
professor every time.
You don't?
No, Mr. and Mrs.
Oh, mister. Then
Oh,
that's
no,
the
we go
same.
prof. So it's like Prof. Wright
Okay.
or Prof.
no.
Niski.
Oh, so you'd say the last name.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you gotta give them the you would use the actually you would use you, right, to refer to a professor.
Yeah, there's
But
only one
meaning
you in
like
English.
as a second plural person.
Yeah, there's no
kind of.
formal
Yeah, yeah.
informal.
In Italy you would use the third person, so you would give them the he or the she. So it was like I don't know, if I have to offer you some water, I go like does he want some water? To you.
I think
What?
it sounds awkward in English.
It sounds
right?
so awkward in English, I know.
In German, it's the
It's
same.
so
but
confusing, yeah.
In English, it doesn't
Yeah,
work.
in French they use the vous, but it's not the
Oh,
two.
you mean like Z instead of du.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, anyways, cool grammar. Anyways, man, thanks a lot for coming here.
Been good, guys. Like, got an exciting project here. I'm looking forward to hearing the first
Yeah.
episode.
Yeah. Now I gotta audit all the heavy breathing and
I've been
From
breathing
Dan.
a lot.
now
like-
from Dan.
yeah. Yeah.
No. But yeah, I'm looking forward to stream this one online. And thanks a lot
Awesome.
for coming. Probably we'll
course.
have you back, man.
For
Yeah.
sure, we'll have you
Yeah,
back,
yeah,
man.
yeah.
You're
Awesome, man. I
you're
hope
also a shareholder of the couch, which we haven't
Yeah,
mentioned.
actually, we haven't.
I own
mentioned
this sofa, by the way, guys. Just for anyone listening.
that. Half of it.
I own half of this sofa.
It's
It's my
actually yours,
apartment.
too.
But yes, I'm excited. I'm excited to see all your guests and stuff. So hope you guys enjoyed.
Thank you
Thank
for
you,
coming, man, for being the first ever guest.
Woo!
Thank you, man. Bye.